Welcome to another edition of Wings Weekly. Jay Klein Connect here, along with head coach Steve Jennings. Coach, some of these questions, it seems like, and some of these topics start to get pretty redundant when you're talking to multiple people, oftentimes about the same thing, but there's different platforms and so on that they're used on, and different eyes and ears that are hearing things. But I wanted to start with Friday night, a 4-1 win up in Bismarck, and Cade Nielsen had a great game. He got 2 goals early that got you guys out front. You didn't look back. As mentioned, won 4-1. A lot of positives in that game. The power play looked good. Penalty kill was perfect. There was great puck movement. Shots on goal were good. Wasik was really good in goal, stopping 26 of 27 saves and came up with some big saves in key moments too. Tell me what your thoughts were. Break down that game if you would.
Yeah, I think we spent some time last week really trying to address some concerns we had. And I won't say concerns, just things with a younger squad like this, trying to get them to buy in and do what we're asking them to do with repetition, right? That was, I think, a big thing that we saw on Friday night. It was really good application of what we worked on in practice during the week. And, our compete was really strong start to finish. And, I just thought overall they actually played a game probably since our game against Shreveport at the Showcase, probably our most complete game of the year.
Okay,
and we got the result because of that.
Right. And that's kind of been an issue. I know something you and I have talked about a few times where, there will be a really strong second period or whatever, but they fall off a little bit in the third or whatever. And putting together 60 minutes has been a bit of a challenge. As you mentioned, through repetition and different things like that, and you get the result you wanted Friday from putting that complete game together. Do you like what that does for you moving forward? Or is it pretty easy that it can kind of slip backwards into that same trend?
Well, look at Saturday, our start on Saturday. I actually thought on Friday our veteran group, right, our returning players really led well. Mm-hmm. And not just a couple of guys, the entire core. They did a really good job about setting the bar and letting the other guys see what it looks like. And,
sure.
and that kept basically the whole rotation going. And I thought it was really good. Saturday night we get into that game, and I thought our start was not the best. We came out in the second period with a much better effort, right? We were able to refocus things. And, I think some of that, again, is that transition to junior hockey for some of these guys is just understanding how to put 2 nights back-to-back together like that. And then you get faced with the challenge of a longer pregame ceremony there. And just a few things, and they're not excuses, but these are the issues that these kids go through as they grow into junior hockey. It's just, it's just a little bit different. And, the group certainly has it. This group has a lot of talent and a lot of capability, and we just have to get them to be consistent for a whole 60 minutes here.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was a 2-3 loss Saturday. A really even game. It came down to the final 44 seconds and a kind of a strange bounce off a stick, and they end up putting one in with, again, just under a minute to play. But the power play was 50%, 1 of 2. PK was perfect again, 4 of 4. Oros, I thought, made a bunch of really nice saves, seemed really confident in the crease in his first performance as a wing. Again, what are the positives from Saturday night?
Yeah, and I think for Saturday night it's that resilience, right? I mean, we took a pretty strong push from them in the first period, and I think Bent didn't break it when that was going on. Found a way to push back, actually build a little bit of momentum going into the break, and then coming out of the break, I thought really built off of that, and and earned ourselves a lead. Going into the last 11 minutes, we're up 2-1. Mm-hmm. Right, and then again, it's just our way to finish the games and finish it the right way, and we let them back in. And then when you back in 2-2 like that late in the game, you're subject to a bad bounce. And I think when I looked at that third period, it was just a little bit too much back and forth. Where I thought the second period was a little bit more in our favor, and we dictated the play. I think in that third period we let them push back a little bit. We pushed as well, but it was back and forth, and those are the things we have to eliminate here.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a roller coaster game, like you said, back and forth. Right now in the standings, North Iowa is on top of the Central Division with 15 points. Austin in second with 13. St. Cloud with 10 in third. Then the Wings also with 10 in fourth. Minot with 7 and Bismarck with 4. Normally, this is where I would segue into the week ahead and the games coming up, but there are no games to talk about this coming weekend. But that's a little different in its own right. What is a week off this early in the season, especially, you know, what does that do for a team, and what are your plans? Do you continue to practice, or do you let them have some time?
We'll take some time during the weekend, right? I think at this point we haven't earned the opportunity to have a day off. I think, you know, the guys do need a rest. We've been going pretty hard at it since they reported. We really haven't had much time off. Excuse me. So we'll give them a little bit of an opportunity over the weekend to get a mental break. But physically, we'll stay engaged. We'll practice all the way through the week here and get ready. And we got to start just preparing for, you know, we got a 4-game homestand coming up, and this is like the greatest place to play, I think, in the division. This division has a lot of great places, but I think this is the best. And the fan base here is really solid, and they are an energy provider to our group, and we provide the energy back to them with our performance on the ice. And I think getting ready to come back out of the break and you know, deliver to the town what they expect from us, and deliver to each other what we expect from each other. That's the big thing, right? And we'll have an opportunity. Zach and I spent Sunday this week up in Fargo doing some scouting. We'll spend a little bit of time on the road this week again, we've already started the build process for next year's team. So we have a couple of visitors coming in this week, and we have more coming in next week. So we'll use these weeks to kind of help with that. But again, really try to tighten up some of the things that we feel like we need to address here with the team. And, you know, there's a question always with a team like this. Is it a lack of buy-in, or is it execution, or where is it? And I don't find from the group that it's a lack of buy-in. It's not that we're trying to sell an idea that people just are resistant to. I think literally for some of the guys, it's learning how to do it at a high level and how to do it night in and night out. That's the challenge.
Right. Okay. What about the timing of the week off? Would you rather have it later on in the season?
100%.
I figured so.
It is not the best timing. But hey, it is what it is, and we'll deal with it, right? But yeah, you know, looking at that, you'd like to have a break later. This is one of those where we're really starting to get into a routine and some momentum here, and there is a natural momentum that's built from routine. Yeah. And we're going to break the routine here this weekend. So our challenge, you know, Zach and I have been talking about it. We have to find a way to continue to drive that routine process in, and find a way to give the guys a little bit of a break, because the season is long, and there is a physical as well as a mental side of that length.
Double-edged sword, so to speak.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Coach, that's about all I've got for you. I appreciate you taking some time to kind of break down the weekend and to let us know what's in store in the week ahead. Again, a week off, but then, as you mentioned, 4 straight games at the ODI Center coming up, getting back to it with the North Iowa Bulls and then the Austin Bruins, see them for the first time. So some challenges ahead for sure. Yep. But thanks so much for coming on, and well, best of luck on the weekend off. That's how I wrap this up usually, right?
All right. Thanks, Jay.
All right, folks, the second portion of Wings Weekly coming up with the player after this.
We raise the bar on bar food with sandwiches, tenders, and there's more where this came from. To the greatest of all times.
All right, Wings Weekly continues with the second portion, and as promised, a player is joining me, the number 12 of Hugo Gustafsson from Östervalla, Sweden. Am I saying that right?
Yeah,
nice.
Östervalla in Swedish, but in English it's right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Close enough. Well, at least for me. But thanks so much for coming on. Is this your first time in the United States?
Yeah, it's my first time. I've never been here before.
What are your first impressions when you come over? There's got to be some pretty major differences, I would think, whether it be foods and whatever. But the whole culture I imagine would kind of stand out a little bit. What was some of the first things that you noticed?
Yeah, the first thing I noticed, I don't know if it's just South Dakota people, but they're very kind. Everyone wants to speak with everyone. And yeah, like you said, the food is way different, and also the culture is different. But yeah, I really like Sweden, and I really like America too.
Good. Glad that you're enjoying it. Obviously, not your first language. English isn't your first language, so that would create some problems and some difficulties in a lot of situations in its own right, I would think. But you're doing a great job. And I've talked with you before, and I even, over here you interact with the team, other players, or a wait staff in a restaurant or whatever, and it sounds like you're really doing a great job with that. Has that been at all of a problem? Are there words that you come across that you're kind of like, wait, what? I think I know what that means, but maybe not, or how's that?
Yeah,
been for
sometimes it's hard to find the right words when you speak. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like everything is in English now. So you learn you being better pretty fast.
Yeah.
And yeah, the boys and coaches and everyone around they understand that English is not my first language. So that helps too.
Sure.
Yeah.
I know I've talked with other European players in the past that have come through this locker room, and they generally say that the language itself they are okay with. It's the slang and things like that they don't understand. Like when people use a phrase in kind of a weird way or something that to us might be a normal way of putting something. They're like, well, why would you like the slang portion of it which is harder to follow. It seems like sometimes for someone who isn't. Again, English isn't their first language. Has that been a problem for you at all? The slang portion?
Yeah, actually, that's the toughest part. Like when people use slang or sarcasm, is pretty tough on another language. But yeah, you get into it fast, and I can more now when I come here. So that's good.
I never thought of the sarcasm portion of it. That's really interesting because it is so much about tone and inflection. When someone's being sarcastic, that. But if you aren't used to that, that'd be tricky. I never thought of the sarcastic portion. One of my favorite questions to ask players when I have them on is about their journey becoming a wing. When did they start playing hockey, and how did they, kind of transition through the ranks? And then were you contacted by a coach, or how did you become an Aberdeen wing? It's one dream to come over to USA and play hockey, and my advisor helped me to get here to this great organization, and I'm really happy for that. So that was the way. When did you first start skating and start playing hockey? Real young?
I think like 5 years old I started skating, but there's a funny history here. My dad and I started skating on a hockey school back in Sweden. Then my father played hockey with other people, and I didn't like that. So I take a break for 1 year. So I start hockey, seriously at the age of 6, I think. So that's pretty fun.
So you got almost jealous, huh? You were almost like, well, wait a minute. You're not supposed to be playing with other people. I'm done with this. And then you came back. That's great. Speaking of your family, do you have anybody in your family that has played hockey before, or how did you get involved in? Tell us a little bit about your family and maybe give them a shout out if you want. Yeah,
my father, Frederick, he have played hockey his whole life, and he has been playing in Canada too. And my brother plays hockey now. He's a much bigger talent than me. My sister played hockey too, but she has retired. She is retired now. But have been all my life a lot of hockey. I really like the sport, and the hockey player is the only thing I want to be, and that's the thing I want to do in my life.
Sure, excellent.
So,
excellent.
My mother likes hockey too, but she have never played. But she's a big fan. I was in her family.
I always try to thank the hockey moms because they do a lot behind the scenes, whether it's meals or driving, to and from practices and all those kinds of different things. So that's great that you've got that system, that support system there. What are some of the differences in the European game compared to the U.S. game? I know obviously the sheet of ice is bigger in the European game, but otherwise is it pretty much the same, or do you feel like maybe there's a little more speed in the European game, or what are your thoughts there?
The ice is bigger in the European hockey, so you have a little bit more time when you get a puck.
Sure.
And you try to keep the puck in the team the whole time. More in Sweden, here it's you need to you need to use the walls, get the smart bumps, and and there's more north-south.
Sure.
Not in Sweden, you play a little bit across the ice, and but it's more to the net, and everyone is harder to the net. So that's a big difference. But I really I like European hockey, but I really like to play in a small rink. I love when it's fast game, and it happens things all the time. So.
Yeah, I can see where the possession would be a little bit different when you're on big sheet, but it's pass, moving the puck on the smaller ice. Away from hockey, what do you like to do? Do you have any hobbies or any interests that you're kind of passionate about? Do you maybe do any fishing or something like that? Hobbies at all that occupy your time when you're out of the building?
Yeah, I really like to play golf.
Okay.
I really like to play paddle too. I don't know if you know that sport, but it's a big sport in Sweden.
Okay.
It had developed the last few years, and I really like to fish. And wakeboard is also a thing I do in the summers. And hang out with friends, and I really like to spend time with my family. My family is really important for me.
Excellent. You a good golfer? Because I talked to Doobie last week, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm really bad, but I still golf." Are you good?
I'm not good, but I'm not bad. I'm both, like in the middle.
Yeah, that's a game that eludes a lot of people, even though they enjoy doing it and getting out there. It's not the easiest, and it's hard to be consistent. It seems like too.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. Normally, I would talk to you about the upcoming games, but like I was just talking with Coach Jennings, we don't now have any games to talk about for this weekend anyway. So a week off. What are your plans? You guys, as a team, talked about maybe doing a little something on the weekend when you don't have games, like maybe going fishing somewhere or something like that?
No, we have not discussed that yet. So we'll see. My opinion is it's boring.
Yeah.
I want to play games.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. I think that everybody is not only the timing of it, like we just talked with Coach Jennings about, but I know fans too. They're passionate about games, and they want to come to games, and going to be a lot of people sitting around twiddling their thumbs, I think, coming up this weekend.
Yeah.
But that's really about all I've got for you. I really appreciate you coming on the show and getting a chance for people to get to know you a little bit. You did a great job. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry for my bad English.
No,
but,
it's not bad at all. You did a great job. Well, as mentioned, folks, the Wings have the weekend off this coming weekend before returning to home to finish out the month of October at the OD. They'll host the North Iowa Bulls Friday and Saturday, October 22nd and 23rd, as part of our Sanford Children's Miracle Network weekend. The Austin Bruins will travel to the OD on Friday and Saturday, October 29th and 30th, to wrap up October. Stay tuned for more information on both these weekends coming up. Season tickets and corporate night sponsorships are available for the 2021-2022 season. Call Aaron at 605-380-5852 for more information. Don't forget, Wings Weekly is now a podcast. Find the audio for this season's episodes on Spotify, Stitcher, or iHeartRadio. And for all the latest news and information on the Wings, visit AberdeenWings.com or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram. Once again, Hugo Gustafsson, thanks so much for coming on the show, and looking forward to seeing you back in action here at the OD in 2 weeks.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You bet. All right, folks, that'll wrap up this week's Wings Weekly.